Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back with another Full Sail video. I know it's been quite a while since I've made one, but I have been pretty busy. And also, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure it out, but right now, um, for some reason, with the Akai interface, like the way that it's routed into the computer, um, the way I have it playing back right now, is that it's only going to be coming out of the left channel of like the left stereo channel of the video. So hopefully I can fix it. So I might be talking about something that isn't a problem in the video right now, but it might be, so I don't know. Figure it out. So yeah, the ending of month 10, I think, which was audio workstations and critical listening. Gosh, I can't even remember what the last video was. It ended up being pretty hectic. I had the three projects for critical listening to go through, and those ended up being really good. The soundscape I uploaded, which was the only one that I was able to upload. The acoustic analysis or the sound analysis, my buddy Kevin and I actually teamed up, and we ended up working on that together. And we had to make it into a keynote presentation. So, and that was on Kevin's computer. So I didn't get to get my hands on that. Plus, I mean, like I said, it's a keynote, so I can't upload a keynote presentation to YouTube. That won't work. We did take video, and there were sound examples, but it just would have been too much to put into a video for it to make sense. And I guess I could have done a screencast of it, but again, I never had it on my computer, so that wouldn't have worked out. And then lastly was the reverse engineering project for the lab grade. And that was pretty tough. I think I got like a 95 on that or something. Which, I mean, they didn't grade too hard, but it was still tough to do what they were asking, you know what I mean? The reverse engineering is definitely not an easy thing to do. But it came together really well. I mean, it was this jazz piece. And basically what it was a Logic session, and they gave us, in the very top track was a master recording of it, and basically underneath that were all the instrumental, or all the instrument tracks, and we had to make the instrument tracks sound like the master mix. And it had this like really light, airy, kind of just open feel, and none of us could figure out how they did it. I mean, I got the automation really good. I got most of the instruments as far as EQ and compression and all that pretty close, but still it was something that it was really hard to do, and it'll take lots of experience, obviously. So I guess the critical listening ended up being a good class. The last day, the last lecture of the class, basically we came in and we had to turn in the acoustic analysis project, and that Kevin took care of that, and we had to do it or upload it to a Dropbox there in the classroom. And then after that we had the whole 4 hours to work on the soundscape if we hadn't finished it yet. And I was pretty much done with mine by that point. I mean, there was, I took a good hour or so and did some final tweaking, final details, and I actually did mine in Pro Tools. So, it ended up being really good, actually. If you haven't taken a listen to it, check it out. It's on my channel. It should be one of the most recent videos I've uploaded. And we were supposed to get it to 2 minutes or more, but mine ended up being like 10 seconds short. But I actually got 100 on it anyway, so it was cool. No worries. And then to go with that, there was also documentation, and we had to write out the thing for each scene. And I mean, that's basically what I finished up there in class as well. And then we had to save it into a file and upload it to the Dropbox, and we were good to go. So the end of critical listening was really literally just those projects. There was no written final, no Scantron or anything. It was I loved it. It was a really good type of busy, and it felt good to have or to be that type of busy, because like for me, like I will take a project any day of the week, you know what I'm saying? Because the studying and the traditional like terms and definitions just was not cutting it. And not in the sense that I can't do that, but it's just so boring. I'd rather do something fun. So critical listening ended up doing pretty good. I got a 94.75 as my final grade, so I barely passed with an A+, because 94 or above is an A+, I think. Either that or I just barely made it under an A+, and I got an A. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I got an A+. But I got a 94.75 in that class, so that was awesome. Audio workstations, aka Pro Tools class. I ended up kicking some serious ass in that class. The labs, okay. The labs were like, they were kind of boring in the sense that it was just like the lab techs explain stuff in the beginning and then they let you go. And it's basically follow the lab packet and kind of explore the stuff. But luckily for me, since I was doing the soundscape in Pro Tools, everything but the MIDI tracks I was able to do in Pro Tools. So it's like I wasn't wasting my time. Excuse me. So that was a nice thing, is that I actually got to use the stuff that we were looking at in lab and whatnot. And, we went over MIDI stuff, more editing stuff. Gosh, let me open up the file, and I guess we can take a look at it, because I've got all the stuff, all the lab packs and whatnot. Let's see. Audio workstations. Yeah, we did different record modes, mixing, and then MIDI, and then the end was the lab final. And same thing for lecture, we just covered those things. So we covered, obviously I probably mentioned all the different record modes. We looked at, we had 2 different lectures on MIDI, 2 different lectures on mixing, and we also looked at hardware in the Mixing 2 lab. And the one piece of gear that we had to pay special attention to was the Digi 002 or 002, which is, I think, an interface. And then lastly, we took a look at audio protocols and plugin formats. So we looked at all the different, like ASIO, WDM, Wave RT, Core Audio, different, and then the DAE, of course, which is Pro Tools protocol. Basically the sound engines for all the different DAWs out there. We also checked out different plugin formats, such as VST, DirectX, Audio Unit, or AU, which is the Apple version, native formats, file-based formats, and then lastly we had to know which DAW system supported what. So for example, Pro Tools LE supports the RTAS, which is Real-Time Audio Suite, and Audio Suite plugins. Nuendo and Cubase support VST and DirectX on PC. Sonar supports DirectX and VST. Digital Performer supports native plugins and AU plugins, and Logic, of course, is the same thing, native and Audio Unit. So lots of great information. We had to know and memorize all of those acronyms or whatever they're called. And then we had to learn about the audio suites and Pro Tools. And so for that class, there was a lab final and a lecture final. They were both on this past Saturday. Today is Monday, April 30th. I haven't made a video in about a week again because it was hella busy. Like, I'm not making it up, I promise. Because I had those projects. And then I had to study for Pro Tools and practice for the Pro Tools tests. And you can ask Mina, like, she was lonely for a couple days because I was having to work so much. But I love her because she gives me the space to work when I need to, for sure. But no, the lecture final was 100 questions. It was a cumulative test, meaning it covered everything from the beginning of the month all the way up until the end of the month. And actually, I got a 95 on that one, so I only missed 5 questions out of the entire 100, which was freaking sweet. And then for the lab final, it was really just, again, it was a cumulative test, so we covered stuff like all the way that we did at the beginning to the end. And the thing about it was, like, for the lab review, the final lab was only 2 hours, and basically the lab techs, we had a packet of about 50 questions, and the lab techs just walked us through the whole thing. And as soon as we got done getting walked through the whole thing, we're allowed to go, or we could stay and practice. And then the next day, so that was Friday, the lab review was on Friday. excuse me. And on Saturday there was the lecture final, and that was the first half of lecture. And if we wanted to, we were welcome to come back to the second half of lecture to do the lab review a second time. So I came back and sat through the lab review again, and I went home and practiced with it, and I went into the lab final. And basically we had an hour, so there were about 50 questions in the review, but there were only about 25 questions, so about half of that for the actual practical. And we had an hour to do the 25 questions, and it only took me like 20 it took me about 20 minutes to get it all done, and I was the first one in my group to finish. And like, I'm pretty confident about it. Like, I have become pretty fluid with Pro Tools, no doubt. Like, right now it's my forte. Out of all this audio stuff, I get Pro Tools. I understand how to work it. I'm fast at it. You get the idea. And I went in there, did my thing, and left, and the lab techs were like, you have an hour to do it, but if you know what you're doing, it should take you about 20 minutes. Because the way that the lab quizzes or the lab tests are done is Jeremy, my lecture instructor, he's like the course director for the class, and he'll have the lab techs do the exam, and he'll take their quickest time and multiply it by 3. So that's how he gets the time limits. Because I mean, you got to think about it. Full Sail, like, they need to have some type of a standard of proficiency with the program to kind of push people to make them learn it. And so he multiplies the lab tech's time by 3. And so basically, yeah, I finished it in the amount of time that the lab tech would take, and I felt really good about myself. I was like, word up, like, I really feel good with this stuff. I haven't gotten the grade back for it yet, but I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact I got an A+ on it. I don't want to say I got a 100 exactly, because you never know. I could have messed up or misread something, but I am positive that I got an A+, because I knew this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, for the lecture final, it's like I knew, okay, there were a couple questions I definitely did not know, and I was fine with that, But for the lab, it's like I went in there full force, full confidence. I rocked it. So, Audio Workstations was a great class. I'm staying in touch with the course director, Jeremy. I'm actually probably going to go see him this week about some different Pro Tools things that I like, because I want to get certified, and I really want to be good at it. So I'm keeping myself busy with it. So I'm going to ask him if he can show me some more stuff in depth and whatnot. So, yeah, it's all going good right now. Today was the first day of month number 11, and I'm actually going to get into that in the next video. But for now, I usually don't say sorry for making videos, but I've got a lot of messages from a lot of cool people thanking me for making the videos. And, I do make them when I try, for sure, or I try to make them when I can, because, I mean, let's face it, this school is busy, and it keeps getting busier. Like, if you look at a lot of the past months, like, I have made videos every day, but lately it's, like, the workload is huge, and I haven't really, like, it's okay. It's like my 3 main focuses are school, and then drums, because I'm auditioning for drum corps this fall. And then, obviously, I need relax time. So it's like, if I can fit the videos in there somewhere, that's great. But, like, they're not my primary concern. Although I do really like helping people out and getting some awesome feedback and stuff. But I definitely try to make them when I have time. This month, I'm feeling like I'm going to have time because, well, I'll explain all that in the next video. But for now, just know that critical listening and audio workstations, busy month. If you take both of them at the same time, you will be busy throughout the entire month, because with Pro Tools class or audio workstations, I mean, it's a lot of information. You have a lot of stuff to remember for the actual written final exam and the lab practical at the end of the month, because Pro Tools is a very in-depth program. And as far as critical listening goes, the first 2 weeks is just cramming terms and definitions. It sucks ass. And then the second 2 weeks, or or the last 2 weeks, I should say, is doing those projects, which takes a lot of time, like the soundscape. I probably logged at least a good 15 hours into it, including the time that it took me to find and download all the sound samples and then put them together in Pro Tools. About 15 hours for a minute and a half, you know. So it took, about an hour for every 10 seconds, just to put it proportionally. I mean, that's crazy, you know. So I completely did my math wrong there, but you get the idea, you know what I'm saying? So it took a lot of time, and then there was the acoustic analysis and the reverse engineering project. So yeah, this month, the month of audio workstations and critical listening, busy, but it's a good busy, because Pro Tools is amazing, and critical listening, at least the second half of the month, is a lot of fun. And it's a good type of stress, like I've been saying. So yeah, I hope you're digging the videos. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the next video. We're going to jump into month number 11, I do believe. So until next time, guys, take it easy, and I will see you then.